Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports Center. Live it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle. This is Premier Sports Center. Live it anywhere, take it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button. Oh, and another goal for Super Eagle.
Good evening, sport fans. You're welcome to Premier Sport Fan Center. This is our Friday Talk Sport. In a moment, we talk about all the breaking news in the world of sport. We'll be here to digest to your loving delight all the happenings in the world of sport. Already big stories in the world of sport, and we'll be here to digest them accordingly. Well, I'll not be alone to talk about all the exciting moments in the world of sport as we normally do in Talk Sport. I have with me the great analyst here from my far left, Shege. You're welcome to the
Well,
studio.
good evening, Solomon. Good evening, sport fans around the world. Yes, Talk Sports every Friday on Premier Sports Fan Center to just discuss, everything around the world of sport. Since we couldn't speak on during, our live commentary game, so it's always fun to be in the studios to do this.
All right, and also be having Dave Polo. Polo, you're welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having me, and I'm always excited to be here every Friday. When we do these talk shows.
All right, quickly let's dive to the first topic on ground, and that is the Carabao Cup journey so far. Right now, we've seen the finalists: Liverpool, Newcastle. Are you amazed with that?
Yeah, well deserved one for both of them. And I think we have to look at Newcastle right to the final. I think they faced the better side or the hardest route. They had the hardest route to the final, facing off against Chelsea and dismantling Arsenal in a two-legged way. When we saw the first leg 2-0 at Emirates Stadium, we thought it was fluke, and the Arsenal fans were thinking of coming back in that one. And at the what's it called, the St Mary's Stadium, which is their home ground, they made it know that yes, it wasn't a fluke, defeating Arsenal by another 2-0 to actually show their that they actually deserve to make it to the final. I think it's back-to-back final. No, just were the finalists in last year's Carabao Cup final, but they are making their second final under the manager Eddie Howe, which is actually a good one for them. You look at the caliber of players at Newcastle, and you actually believe or you expect them to to also challenge for this type of trophies. I would have really be happy if the final had been Newcastle Tottenham, because these two sides, we're looking at the investments they've made in these clubs, they deserve a trophy for it. But Newcastle against Liverpool, I think that one too is another big final for everybody to respect. The way Newcastle play, the way they are always aggressive on the ball and technical on the ball, they have what it takes to stand their ground against Liverpool. And it's at the best time when you have a striker like Isak, who is in the form of his life. You look at the number of goals, you look at how he ragged both Saliba and Gabriel the other day. You would have thought the player who called Lege can destroy can actually run the two self-claimed acclaimed best defenders to the rug that day. It was really a great game in that one between Arsenal and Newcastle, and Newcastle deservedly made it through to the final, and I can't wait for that first final game at Wembley. Liverpool also be looking to go out to win it back-to-back in the Carabao Cup, and we are looking at Liverpool this time around. People are not really, like always, people are not really putting an eye on Liverpool. You look at how many fronts they are still going out strong. They are still in the FA Cup, now they're in the final of the Carabao Cup. They have what's it called? The Champions League to play, and the league they are topping. So it's possible they end up the season with the all 4 titles, which might be great for Liverpool. They are taking it one game at a time, which is how you actually pursue and maintain a good momentum.
All right, let's quickly look at the journey of Newcastle so far in the Carabao Cup. They had their first match against Nottingham Forest. They won away from home 2-1 in that encounter. They went to Wembley Dome. They defeated Wembley Dome 1-0. Yeah, also away from home. That at home ground they defeated Chelsea 2-0. Then they went to meet Brentford. Yes, they played against Brentford in their own home and defeated Brentford 3-1 in that encounter. Then two-legged affair 2-0 against Arsenal, and right there they are in the final.
Yeah, well, for Newcastle, I think their path to the final has been one of the toughest. Looking at the level and caliber of clubs you've just mentioned now, I know nobody believe you facing all these clubs and still expect Newcastle to win. But we saw how Newcastle prepared for the might play the first leg and the second leg. They look like a team that really wants to win the competition. They really want to, they were serious with it, and we saw how they played. To be honest, they play against Arsenal that people thought Arsenal will actually defeat them easily, but after the first leg, with the way they played that first leg, they were so determined, focused, and they knew what they were doing, and they got the result. Second leg also, same thing. For Newcastle, I think this Carabao Cup will be. I mean, this final, I think is theirs because 2 seasons ago they were in the final. We saw how they, Manchester United defeating them, and now against Liverpool. Though I'm not writing Liverpool up because Liverpool are a very good side, also topping the league in the Champions League every year. So I think that match will be a very big one.
All right, let's also look at the journey of Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. Yeah, the first match against West Ham, they won 5-1 in that encounter, and then again they went to play against Brighton away from home. They defeated Brighton 3-2, in that encounter. Then against Southampton, away from home, they defeated them 2-1. And a two-legged affair on aggregate is 4-1. They lost the first leg against Tottenham 1-0 away from home, and in their own home at the Anfield, it was 4-0.
I think Liverpool has actually been lucky with their fixtures because looking at the teams they've faced, to the caliber of teams Newcastle has already faced. I think, yes, they've been lucky with some fixtures until now they got to the final. Even at the final, they might even be also lucky playing off against Newcastle, who I think at the end of the day, maybe Liverpool are going to have the upper hand. It will just to be around 70% upper hand to Liverpool, 30% to Newcastle. So it's a good ride for them. And some of their players are playing in their last season. Don't forget they are yet to offer a new, what's it called, Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and Trent Arnold. This might actually be their last season with Liverpool because they are yet to accept a new deal that is on the table. So I think it's a good ride for them to go into the final. Opportunity for Arne Slot to win his first title as a Liverpool manager in his first season. I think that is going to be one motivating factor for the players when they match out I think early March of this February ending. That's when we'll be having the FA Cup final at Wembley. So it's really going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a competitive game when these two teams file out to play together.
All right, Paulo, we've seen how these two teams got to the final. Now they'll be playing in a neutral ground, that is at the Wembley. We saw the home advantage too for Liverpool. They really took advantage of that their home 4-0 against Tottenham. But again, away and at home we saw Newcastle. How they dismantled Arsenal. 2-2 nil. In fact, they share it equal sharing 2-2. So with this kind of future so far, what are you expecting to see at the Wembley?
Well, talking about the final, it's actually a neutral ground, like you said, at Wembley. And Liverpool last season they were there, and we saw how it ended for them. They actually leave the cup, which is the Carabao Cup. Newcastle too were there 2 seasons ago, but unfortunately they couldn't. But this time around, I want to believe Newcastle would have learned what a lesson from their defeat against Manchester United. That was 2 seasons ago. So for Newcastle United, I think this is the for about is it 69 or 79 years, Newcastle United have failed to win any cup, a major trophy in England, and this is an opportunity for them to do that. Like he said, Liverpool also will be very, because most of their players, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, like he said also, this might be their last season, and they want to sign off on a good note. And having a new manager also who wants to, at least write his name in the history book for Liverpool. My first season, winning something. I can't remember the last coach that actually did that for Liverpool. But Liverpool needs to be very careful because we've seen something like this before. Because I could remember about 3 or 4 seasons ago, Liverpool actually won the Carabao Cup. They were in position to also win a quadruple. People were saying they are going to win the quadruple. At the end of the day, they only end up with just one trophy. That's the Carabao Cup. So they just need to be careful also. But perhaps Liverpool, luck might shine on either of them. But I think I'll be tipping, Newcastle to do, something at least for the fans and due to the route they follow the path to the final because they actually, destroy most of the big teams that you expected them to win Newcastle.
All right, thank you very much to our fans, wherever you are. Let's see your prediction on the comment section. Whoever you think is going to win, come March 16 when the Carabao Cup final will be played at the Wembley. So send your prediction to our comment section and we will note you. I will note you and identify you when you get it right. So quickly, let's go to the Copa del Rey. We've seen the semi-final is the 4 teams to this Copa del Rey. So far we have Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Real Sociedad. Those are the 4 teams that actually made it to the semi-final. Yeah. So see, Gonzalez got the late goal in the stoppage time to give Real Madrid victory in that encounter. Yeah. Atletico Madrid trashed Getafe 5-0 to book their spot in the semi-final. Barcelona ran riot against Valencia. Yeah, winning 5-0, and Real Sociedad beat 10-man Osasuna 2-0 to complete the line-up. So the draw for this semi-final probably will be waiting for another El Clasico, but the draw will be February 12th. Yeah.
Well, I think it's still the same regular 3 out of 20 teams that dominate the La Liga for the past about 8 to 10 years. Still 3 of them make it to the semi-finals, and these are still the 3 regular teams you always expect from La Liga to get to the semi-final of Carabao Cup. Valencia has really fallen in the pecking order, maybe due to some financial or whatever issues. So it's good to see Real Sociedad in the semi-final, but who is Real Sociedad going to stop in the semi-final? It's a $1 million question. But I think at the end of the day, yes, for money reasons, I think at the end of the day, the final is still going to be an El Clasico final because that is the only way they can get some broadcasting money for people to actually watch the Copa del Rey final. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be a Madrid Barcelona
What
final.
about if after the draw it is El Clasico?
That's what I want to say. And
I think that possibility of it happening in the semi-final is about 20 out of 100 because
Right.
the final is the bigger stage. That is where they want it to happen.
Okay. So they can make it to happen.
Yeah,
they
they
can,
make it to happen.
they can.
Yeah.
But
It's possibilities either 1 or 2. So it's just like you throwing a coin.
Okay.
It's either head or tail.
Yeah.
But the higher possibility of it happening, because this thing is not really about you throwing a dice and bringing probability out. Where are they going to make the better money? It's when they have a Clasico happening in the final. That's where they can have a lot of viewers viewing the that competition. So I think it's more about it happening in the final. And Atletico Madrid can always be a spoilers against any of these big boys. If Atletico Madrid should face off against Barcelona in the semi-final, you never can tell. That is the manager Diego Simeone can set up his boys out, score 1 goal in the 10th minute, and close shop for the remaining 80 minutes. It's very much happening. He can also do it against Real Madrid. He was almost on the blink of winning the Champions League with something like that. So it's something he can do. I think looking at the way the league is going, if Real Madrid or Barcelona at the end of the day one of them is going to win the league, the Copa del Rey also presents itself as a very good opportunity for Atletico Madrid to win a trophy. So it's still very much open for either of these 3 teams. So sorry for writing off Real Sociedad. I don't think there's any surprise I'll be expecting from Real Sociedad in the semi-final. So at the end of the day, it's one of these 3 or 2 of these 3 will be making it to the final.
Paulo, what is your take on this semi-final and probability of the finals in this encounter? And who do you think can be spring up as the dark horse in this semi-final?
Well, I will be shocked if Real Sociedad made it to the final. I think in football they say anything can happen, but to me I think this is the final bus stop for Real Sociedad. I believe either Barcelona or Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid, two among those three will actually make to the final. But as it was, as we like you asked the other time about the possibility of having El Clasico in the final, there's almost like he said also about 70% chance, of us seeing it. Truly, when you talk about the money aspect, they know they will generate a lot of money. But at the same time, those clubs, they won't want to face each other also. Like Real Madrid. Real Madrid will not want to face Barcelona in the semi-final, because we've seen what Barcelona have been doing to Real Madrid of late now. Dismantling them. So Real Madrid. So for Real Madrid, including Atletico Madrid, even Barcelona, they would prefer to play what's his name now, Real Sociedad. At least they will have about 80% chance of winning Real Sociedad. But we just have to wait for the draw, and I will be surprised if Barcelona and Real Madrid appeared in the semi-final. So, but in football, anything can happen. But if Real Sociedad event make it to the final, they should just give him the Real Sociedad the trophy. Let them go.
All right, our fans, thank you. Yeah, also remember to send your comment on this particular Copa del Rey semi-final. Who do you think will be in the final? Who do you think is going to win the Copa del Rey this season? And if you think there's going to be an El Clasico, please let us also see that in our comment section. Let's quickly dive to the next one, and that is the transfer market. It has ended, and we have seen that is the January transfer market. It has ended. We have seen the big spenders, and we have also seen the teams who refuse to buy any player. We've seen the teams who I don't know whether they are broke or they actually needed needed players, but they refused to go to the market. And you've seen Manchester City and Saudi Pro League are the leading spender this season, and PSG already making the key mid-season reinforcement. So we quickly go and see the top 10 transfer this season. That is the top most valuable transfer this season. Top 10 the most valuable in terms of the cash, the money. Yeah.
I think before we delve into that, it's even good for me that we are in the studio with Paulo, because I remember the last time we had this argument on the screen. I said that it's very much possible Arsenal won't get a player this January. Because when you look at FFP and PSR, knocking at your doors, you can't really go into the market. And I said that the only team that can go into the market and get anybody without having an issue is Manchester City, because their plus is actually so rich. This is a club who has won about 4 out of 5 EPL. They've won a Champions League. They are actually, they have good positivity when it comes to PSR and FFP. They don't have any issues. Even when their squad is looking like they are struggling, but they can still go into the market, spend a lot of money. You look at how much they brought Omar Mamouche, look at the amount they pay for Kasanov, the defender, how much they spent in bringing Victor Reis from the Brazil League. It shows that, yes, when you win trophies, you can always go into the market, and get the best of the best talent. Arsenal's biggest problem, it still remains the values of the players in their squad. Who are they going to sell for £100 million? We have to always remember they went into the market to spend £100 million on getting what's it called? Declan Rice. If not even more than £100 million they spent on getting Declan Rice. You look at the amount they spent on getting Kai Havertz from Chelsea, about £64 million. That's £164 million. What did they have to show for this money spent? What is the valuation of Kai Havertz if they are going to sell him today? It's not up to £50 million. And if you are selling him at a minus rate, it affects your PSR and FFP books. So that is their biggest problem. The only player Arsenal can sell for big value right now has to be Bukayo Saka. In my own book, or probably Odegaard can go for maybe about 10 million more than what they've gotten from Real Madrid. So you look at it, they've used 2 loan spots, got Raheem Sterling and got Neto on loan. How many games has Neto played? I don't really know why their manager or their sporting director actually got that Neto. It's better you're even keeping you're keeping confidence with a goalkeeper from your youth setup than wasting a loan a loan slot in getting a Neto. Even Raheem Sterling to me is also a wasted spot for Arsenal. They could have gone into the market, got a striker on loan for maybe one of these age strikers, maybe get a Karim Benzema from Al Ittihad for loan for the remainder of the season. That would have been a better one for them to push themselves to the end of the season. So it's a big problem for them. Come end of the season, it's still going to be a big problem for them because they need to balance their book. They need to sell players. And right now, they are out of how many fronts to win a trophy? I think the only front looking likely for them is the UEFA Champions League, which is even blinking. Because nobody, I think, even a blind man won't expect to see us now lift a UEFA Champions League title this season.
It's a very big dream.
And when you look at Chelsea, yes, we don't have a good book. But you look at the way Chelsea has done their business, the way they've balanced it. The money they is in signing, what's it called, Amogu from St. Etienne, about £50 million. It's covered from the amount they got from loaning players out. You look at the amount they loan Jao. You look at the amount they loan Jao Felix out to AC Milan for the rest of the season, about £5 million. The amount they're getting for Kanichukwu Emeka, about £4 or £3 million. The amount they are getting on these loan players, even Viega is £4 million. That three players already covered the £50 million they're selling. They're paying for Amogu from St. Etienne. That is how you run your business. It's not about, but when you have players who are not, people are not really interested in them, it's become a big problem for you. Same thing with Manchester United. Who are the players with value? Oshlod was signed for £64 million. How much will they sell down in today's markets? It's a big problem for them.
All right, on the transfer, Paulo, what do you have to say? Because right now, Arsenal did not even get any players from the market. Did they get any players?
No. Arsenal didn't actually sign anybody. We were thinking, and hoping they will at least go to the market and get us a striker. The other day when we were talking about it, I was of the opinion that I don't even care, even though he's a £1 million, or even bringing that person on loan. But unfortunately, they couldn't due to one or two reasons. We heard from Arteta saying they wish to, but they couldn't find. To him, said they couldn't find the right person they needed. Well, I try to reason. This is a January transfer window. It's not you hardly see clubs doing heavy, big business. Apart from Manchester City and some maybe Saudi Arabia teams are actually, go into the market and get a lot of players. But for Arsenal, I was surprised they couldn't get anybody. But the transfer window has come and gone. So I think apart from Manchester City in England, the Premier League, I don't really think there are other clubs. Maybe like Tottenham Hotspur.
Even Tottenham was good for Tottenham.
Yeah.
And funny enough, Tottenham has a good book.
Yeah,
so when they can make good signing, because you look at the amount they sold,
actually most of those players,
the amount they sold Harry Kane, it was a big money they sold Harry Kane.
What happened was for Tottenham, I think some of those players they wanted to sign actually rejected. Even the one they actually got from Bayern Munich at first, he wanted to join Manchester United, but we don't know how they later convinced him to come to Tottenham Hotspur.
It's all about balancing, because Manchester United is themselves were not ready to. There's no way Manchester United were going to pay £60 million for Martin Stell. It wasn't going to happen.
So the transfer window.
FFP will come knocking on their door.
So I think Manchester City are the biggest winner to me, because they actually signed about 4 players, including the one they signed on the transfer deadline. That was Nico Gonzalez. They paid about 60 million for the Spanish midfielder.
All right, you can hear that on the transfer market. So let's quickly dive to the 10 most valuable transfer this January window. Yeah, we'll start with number 10. Yeah, number 10 is Santiago Jimenez. Yeah, the Mexican striker, after 2.5 profile year in the Eredivisie, made the leap to Serie A with a move to AC Milan for £32 million.
Well, it deserves one for Jimenez. I saw him last season with PSV, if I'm not mistaken. There was a time around that time, just were interested in a striker, and I was thinking, yes, Santiago might actually be a good striker. The Mexican is a fantastic striker. You can always get good with his feet and also good on the air. That is the profile you want in a striker. So I think move to AC Milan is actually a good one for them at a time where Tammy Abraham is not really getting the starting 11 position. Injuries has really not let us see the best of Tammy Abraham at AC Milan. So I think Jimenez is going to be a big fit. But how easy or how soon he settles into that AC Milan squad is the big question.
And to add to that, I think Tammy Abraham is actually on loan from AS Roma, and like you said, Santiago Jimenez. I was surprised during the summer transfer window. Nobody, they didn't go for him, because we've seen the way the guy has been playing. He's a fantastic player, and hopefully the AC Milan, with AC Milan also, is it loaning? What's his name now? Alvaro Morata to Galatasaray, just to open up space for Santiago Jimenez. So
All right, on number 9 we have Luis Enrique, from Botafogo, that is a Brazilian club, to Zenit St. Petersburg. Yeah, the 24-year-old winger became Zenit's fourth biggest signing in history, making the switch from Brazilian club Botafogo for 33 million pounds.
For I don't know how what happened to that because looking at Zenit St. Petersburg for the past 2 seasons now, they've not been playing in any European competition due to the sanction on the country, and not just only Zenit. I think all the old clubs playing in Russian league. So I think for the transfer could have been, the guy maybe might be motivated with money because you are not going to play Champions League. You are not going to play, and the Russian league. Is more or less what's his name now? Zenit and who else? CSK Lokomotiv. So I think it's all about the money for him.
All right, on number 8 we have Victor Reis. The highly rated Brazilian centre back choose Manchester City over Chelsea and Real Madrid, further strengthening Guardiola's defense for 37 million pounds.
How did he choose Manchester and Chelsea? Chelsea were not out for a deal to get Victor Reis, but a fantastic defender. If Chelsea were out to get him, probably they would have gotten him with Estavio. When Chelsea got Estavio, another fantastic player coming to the EPL. But good defender. I saw a couple of his game when I was checking out on the Estavio. So I think it's a good move to Manchester City. But for how is it a player for the short fix for Manchester City? Is he going to get into the squad this season? That is another question to ask. Or will he be loaned out to one of either Lens or Girona? That is another question. But I don't think he is going to walk into that Manchester City squad at the time now.
We saw Kosanov's play, but he has not been featured by Guardiola.
Yeah, I think it's a player for the future. I don't, most of our Manchester City defenders are aging now. Talk about Kanji, K injury and co. I won't be, probably come next season we might be seeing a lot from him. But at the moment now, I don't see him playing for Manchester City.
All right, on number 7 we have Abdulkadir Kosanov. The Uzbekistan defender signed by Lens for just 400,000 in 2023, made a huge leap to Manchester City after impressive run in League One for 40 million pounds.
Well, it's a big one. It's, we actually saw him, the first match. It wasn't convincing, and that's not the best way to start your career with Manchester City. So after that match, I think the next match they actually dropped him on the bench. But I don't think it's as a result of the performance, But maybe but a big one, like you said. This guy is a very young guy. I think he's around 20, 21 years old, and he hasn't even played up to. The last time I checked, about 70 league matches across the whole country. I mean, he played in France and Belarus. He first played for one. There's a club, BUK something in Belarus, before coming to France. And I think he only played one season now with Lens before joining Manchester City for the big money.
All right, and number 5, right? I've just mentioned number 6. Number 5 is Gelano. From Porto to Al Ahly. The Saudi Pro League continued its spending spree with Al Ahly securing the Brazilian winger from Porto. For 50 million pounds.
I think that have been one of the biggest disappointments for me because I'll have thought of Galeno, staying in major Europe. Strasbourg were linked to him, and I think he rejected Strasbourg last season. I was even thinking Strasbourg would come back this January for him, but it's a big money and good money for Porto getting that 50 million pounds on Galeno, who I'm very sure they did spend up to 10 million pounds when they were getting him from the Brazilian league. So it's a good move also for him. He'll be getting more money because right now football is not really about passion. You have to monetize your passion. That is what really matters now.
Monetize your passion, you can hear that. So we go to the number 4 where we have Xavi Simeon. The Red Bull Leipzig surprised many by making Simon's loan permanent, securing the young talent for a club record fee. Which could rise to 80 million. So from PSG to Red Bull Leipzig for 50 million for Xavi Simon.
Yeah, I think he has been there with them for about going to 2 seasons now, and I believe he's okay with the club, and he wants to really stay there. And RB Leipzig have just gone on to open the to break the bank to make sure they retain him. Xavi Simon is a very good player. We've seen him play for both, even when we play for Paris Saint Germain and RB Leipzig, even for his country. We've seen just that this season he has been injured. I think he's back now, but he's a very fantastic player.
I think this is a player Barcelona will really miss so much. Xavi Simons, I remember him going through the Catalunya, Catalan Academy in the
Part of the La
uh,
Masia, what they
yeah,
call
La
them.
Masia.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest problem has to be their issues with money and all. That was one of the reasons why he had to join PSG. We saw PSG loan him out to PSV, where he gave a very fantastic account of himself, and he moved straight to RB Leipzig on loan, and they actually retained him on loan. They wanted to sign him permanent last season, but PSG were so reluctant on selling him. But this, I think, is actually a good one. That what's it called? RB Leipzig broke the bank for this young player, which shows that yes, they are actually appreciative of all what he has been doing. He's a talented midfielder for any day.
All right, on number 3, where we have Nico Gonzalez. Yeah, with Rodri sidelined due to an ACL injury, Manchester City turned to Nico Gonzalez, taking their total January spending beyond 200 million. So from Porto to Manchester City for 60 million pounds. That's on number 3.
Well, Nico Gonzalez, I don't think we've really seen much from him, and I think Manchester City just wanted to make sure they cover for Rodri, so they had to look for someone. And though he's a good player, but I've not seen much from him, to determine if that amount, yeah. And the amount they paid, though we understand now transfer window now, there's no more cheap players. If you need to get a player now, you have to pay big, and especially when clubs know that you are desperate to get the player, they raise the money.
All right, on number 2, yeah, we have Vicha Kvaratskhelia. The Georgian winger, a standout performer in Serie A since 2020, finally secure his move to PSG after pushing for a transfer. From Napoli to PSG for 70 million. Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, good one, good move for Kvaratskhelia. He has really dropped in the form we saw him. That's I think probably that's we didn't see we are not able to see that understanding that we saw between him and what's it called Victor Osimhen
Osimhen.
happen between him and Lukaku. So this is the right time for him to make that move, and good money for what's it called for
Napoli.
For a player he didn't sign up to 10 million pounds and you're getting about 70 million is actually a good market for them, and it's also a good upgrade for Kvaratskhelia himself, because at Napoli he was earning less than 40 thousand pounds weekly, and moving to a big club like PSG with his talent is, yes, no doubt he's a talented player, and this is the right time to make the move. And it's so good. I think probably the Napoli owners learned his lessons from the way he handled the Victor Osimhen situation, because this time around they allowed Kvaratskhelia move on his own will, and gradually we're starting to see him at PSG. He's a fantastic player. How the PSG manager Luis Enrique
Yeah.
is going to use him and Bracola on that same week is what is left to see. But I know at the end of the season, one of the two has to leave at PSG. There's also the way on that position, also talented players on that wing. So he has to make, just have to make that decision right now.
All right, and the number 1 for the January transfer, yeah, this season, yeah, is John Duran.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Duran. Yeah, number 2 is Umar Mamouche. Umar Mamouche for 75 million, from Frankfurt to Manchester City.
Yeah.
Then number 1 is John Duran for 77 million. Aston Villa to Arnas, Saudi Arabia. That's the number 1 for this January transfer when it comes to monetary value.
Yeah, I think for John Duran, I think it's about the money. Going to the Saudi league at that age, I didn't see it coming actually, but the money, for John Duran, we've seen how he has been playing the league this season. Yeah, he has actually taken the league by storm. We saw him, once Aston Villa need goals, they bring in him and he gets the goal for them. But him going to Saudi League at that age, I was very, surprised. Though he has started on a good note for Al Nassr. Al Nassr, yeah, I think he got a brace today. So he got a brace today. Yeah. So I think he can conquer the league because looking at him, the way he plays, he's a very good finisher.
All right, at the point we thought it was going to be Boniface, but hey, they got Adoran at the end of it.
Well, it just happened. Probably, I think I didn't really see that Boniface deal happening with Al-Nassr. Just like we saw it with Victor Osimhen. I think it's more about using this player as a smoke screen, so that the real targets can actually happen. I think Al-Nassr were actually out to get Duran, who is their main target during this window. And when they got the man, there's no need in getting what's it called, getting the Nigerian striker Victor Boniface, just like the same way it happened with Al Ali and Victor Osimhen, and they ended up getting what's it called, Ivan Tony. So I think, and it's good to see what's it called, Victor Boniface back scoring for Bayer Leverkusen. That is the best way you can respond as a striker, that and not allow that to actually affect your psychology or your thinking.
All right, that is all for the transfer. But before we go, I want to ask one question, and I want you also to send it in the comment section. Which of the team is the most disappointing team this January transfer?
It has to be Arsenal.
Polo.
Well, I think Arsenal also because we are all clamoring for a striker, and at the end of the day, they didn't actually get a striker. Well, I have to agree because we didn't actually sign anybody. So we are short of players with the injury, and the backup striker we have, what's his name now? Gabriel Jesus has been ruled out for the remainder of the season. Bukayo Saka is out. Martinelli is out. Talking about, we still have some defenders also out. Ben White, what's his name again? Tomiyasu. That one has not even played this season at all, and we just needed to get a striker, but at the end of the day, they didn't actually. So I was disappointed with them not getting a striker.
If you think Arsenal is the most disappointing team this January window transfer, let's see it in the comment section. So I'll be having. Let's just have some preview of a few matches here. We have a match on the FA Cup. Manchester City will be in the feature tomorrow. That is Saturday. Yeah, they'll be taking on Leyton Orient. Yeah, away from home. Yeah. Then Brighton will be taking on Chelsea. Another Brighton-Chelsea match.
Well, we've seen Brighton against Chelsea twice this season. I think Chelsea has come out on top of it. And tomorrow also, I'll be expecting Chelsea to come out top in that game.
All right, Polu, Arsenal is not in the FA Cup again?
Yeah, not in the FA Cup. Like I said, Manchester City, I think this is opportunity for them to get back to winning ways after what happened to them over the weekend. And even Manchester City started Team B, I think they should be enough. That would be enough for them to defeat Leyton Orient, a team from I think League One or League Two. So Manchester City is going to
All right, before we go, just a flash on the Super Eagles preparing for the World Cup qualifier. Do you think by this time around we should be having some inclusion of some foreign-based player who don't want to play for England or any other team?
I think if the player is good, if the player is young, there's no problem. There's no problem integrating them into the Super Eagles. Most of the best players we have in the Super Eagles are not even players who grew up from the grassroots. So the football knowledge, the football education given to players here is way different from what they are being given to in the Western countries. I'm talking about the recognized Western countries, the England, the Spain, and whatever. So football is fast growing. And it's getting to a stage whereby you need this ready-made talent if you actually want to compete with the teams. It seems like even Morocco these days are not even also waiting for talent, growing grassroots talent from Morocco. That is even with all the money they're spending in football. You look at how many players they've pitched from the Spanish national team, how many players they've pitched from the French and the Netherlands national team, because they want to be on the same level with the fast-growing pace of football around the world. So it's more about you trying to compete with other nations. When you look at the Super Eagles, even the best player on African continent, Ademola Lookman, at the time played for England. So talking about if it's Kani Chukwuemeka's and what's it called, Leslie Ugochukwu prospects of playing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I think it's a welcome development because I think since Mikel Obi actually retired from the Super Eagles, we struggled in getting that that player who can be a good ball mover in the middle of the park and combining straight with the midfielder in the attack and also good defensively, which I think Kanichukwu Emeka is very good at that situation. Iwobi has done his very best to the Super Eagles playing in that 10th position, but I don't really think 10 is his position in the Super Eagles. He hasn't really been that kind of Iwobi we see in the club when he's playing in the midfield because a lot of responsibilities are put on him. We saw it at the AFCON, the way it happened without Ndidi playing as the defensive midfielder for Nigeria national team. Iwobi really struggled at the AFCON. So Kanichukwu Emeka and Leslie Ugochukwu, if it happened that they chose to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, it's a welcome development.
All right, what is your take?
Yeah, like I said, we are, our position at the, World Cup qualifier. We actually need a lot of players now. Anybody that is coming that will be able to help the Super Eagles qualify to the World Cup is welcome. And there are a lot of Nigerian, born players out there playing for other countries that we also wants to come. Talking about Leslie Ugochukwu and Chukwuemeka, I think they are a welcome, addition, because a lot of fans have been complaining about the set of players we've been using, constantly using them and not producing. It's high time for us to start, looking for other players. And I think with the new coach we've gotten now, and he has decided to, let's expand the team, look for other players to come and, make the team more competitive. And I believe with this addition now, once they call you, you have to, be more serious. So I think it's a welcome development.
All right, welcome development. In March, Super Eagles will be having matches to play in March, so all eyes will be on that World Cup qualifier. If Nigeria win all their games, they can qualify. So we just keep praying for the Super Eagles. We want to be in the World Cup. We want Nigeria to be in the World Cup. Luck can shine. Luck happens sometimes. No. So, Shego, thanks for coming to the studio.
It was a pleasure.
Polo, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having
All
me.
right, to our viewers, thanks for staying tuned to our Friday Talk Sport. Don't forget to join us next Friday by 7:30. We'll be here again. Bye for now.
Oh, and another goal for Super Eagles! This is Premier Sports Center. Believe it anywhere. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to click that subscription button.